take you back. Welcome to Funk Music with Zach right here on ibm.tv. I got the man, the myth, the legend, none other than Mr. William Bush with me today. We're going to be getting into some things. He's going to treat us to a few of his new songs and some stuff that he's working on in the studio. You listen to one of his cuts right now, one of my favorite cuts off one of my favorite CDs, because this is what I listen to. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I wanted to just bring you on with this because I can see already your memories. Here we are, Funk Music with Zach, live on ibm.tv. I have in the house today, peace and blessings, my brother, my savior in the music business, producer on some of my stuff, amazing man, father, husband, all that good stuff, man. Mentor to me, all of that rolled into one, fellow New Yorker,
brother.
all of it. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, Mr. William Bush, I'm live on Funk Music with Zach. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right, man. What you been up to?
COVID. Trying to battle COVID and do all that, man.
I know
it ain't easy.
I did a gig last night for the first time in like
really
4 months. Yeah.
Wow.
It was very strange.
It was surreal.
Yeah, New York is different from because we're kind of like on the other side of the curve.
Yeah.
So people are kind of lax, and it was kind of bugging me out a little bit,
Yeah.
But because like my wife is a nurse, so she's like front line.
Yeah, man.
And so we experienced it a lot differently from other people, because she would bring it, she would come home and tell us stories, and it was crazy. She's like, yeah, today we had to wrap bodies, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it was deep. But it was time for us to get a gig out there, and they kept it. It was actually it wasn't packed, but it was a lot of people. So it was weird. I was kind of rusty.
Yeah.
A little rusty.
Not rusty. You're never rusty.
Oh, I don't know, man. It was some. I was playing some choice notes there. So yeah, but I mean, it's cool. I mean, life has to move forward.
Yeah. You want to hear something ironic, brother? This is true, right? Because last night I had went out with 3 friends of mine, one of whom has a show on IBM, Tish Oakley, right? And I wanted to go out. My friend Mark, another friend of mine, Mark, asked me to go out and meet them. So I was like, all right, that'd be cool. And Tish hadn't been out in ages, and I don't really know her that well, but I know her really, really good enough to say, okay, let's hang out. I'll be the designated driver, because you know me, I don't drink, right? So, right. And I wanted to kind of celebrate her new show that she got going on a couple of weeks ago and everything. And I wanted to see my friend Mark. And so we went to this place, Max Tavern. Now, down south here in North Carolina, we're on that. I don't even know what phases we're on from day to day, brother. I'll be honest with you. It's just too much. It overloaded my brain. But when I went out, I couldn't believe the amount of people I saw out. Some were social distancing, most were. Masks were on and everything like that. But the place had a big outdoor patio,
right.
and the band was actually playing 8-Track Minds, a Dara 70s nostalgic thing, right? And I couldn't believe that because I went because I heard a band was playing, and I was like, okay, let me go see how this is going to work with going forward. Because I, like you, want to move forward. We have to, but we got to stay safe, right? Now, when I got there, I was so in the twilight zone. I was standing up against the wall. I had forgot how to socialize. You know what I mean? Because from being locked in, man, and it, like you said, it was surreal. But it was cool.
Yeah. But you know what was funny, man? For me, the whole situation that didn't affect my social life at all, because I don't really have one.
Right.
I do a gig, and that's my social life. Well, in that respect, it affected me. but like, oh man, I can't go hang out at my friend's house or this.
Yeah.
I never did that anyway, you know.
You
So
preach it to the choir.
yeah, so you know, I took the opportunity to like learn some new skills.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you.
You know,
I'm sorry, you there?
yeah, I'm here.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna
Yeah.
say I empathize because all the stuff that I went through personally. I just been in the house and I've been trying to just not this year obviously was gonna be some good things happening, and we'll see what happens down the line. But I agree with you, man. It's weird to be out there and to see so many people divided, which is what really bothered me when I don't like to see that. And you've always been a spiritual, peaceful man, and we're going to get into all of that in a little bit, but it just bothers me that so many people are angry over death. It's crazy.
Well, my feelings on that, like, okay, you can pick a side, left, right, up, down, whatever you're into, you know, but everybody, it doesn't matter. I feel like everyone is like exercising their right to be angry, and
Yeah,
just, I think some of it they're going, a lot of it they're going overboard.
yeah,
Like exercising their right to be angry and have this like, indignity and everything. And it's like we're going too far.
yeah.
I do believe that it's a product of, you're online, and I could type something on your Facebook page and say Zach is an idiot, and you're down there and I'm up here. You can't do anything to me. And so
Hmm.
I think what people have done is now they've taken that out into the real world, and
Yeah.
they say stuff and they think that there are no repercussions, and there are, you
Yep.
know. And this much I have to say, our job, me, you, musicians, we are always considered, like fringe kind of people, regardless of how successful or not we might be. We're not mainstream. However, if you I had a gig last night, and
Hmm.
I'm pretty certain that it was divided up with left and right, and pro this and anti that and everything. But when we started playing, everybody was everyone was and nobody
Exactly.
was worried about left, right, Trump, this, that, this person, that politician, whoever, whatever you're into or against. You weren't thinking about that. You were thinking about the music. And
Yep.
so I think our job in this time is to bring people together, to like
That's
just
right.
turn people out,
Yep. Yep.
because that nothing else does it.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you 100%, man. And you couldn't have said it better, brother, because what we've been tasked to do by the creator is to do that in a normal environment. And like you said, now in this stressful environment, the minute you guys started hitting last night, I'm sure you felt it, the audience felt it and connected. That's why that connection, the vibration, the levels of that commitment that musician to audience, audience to musician has, it had to feel good for you as well. Because I know I wasn't even performing last night. I was just sitting. But just to be in an environment where I saw people laugh, smile, like you said, could have been left, right, Trump, Biden, whoever, but they were together for one single purpose. Let's get this. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Let's get some of this. And that's what I wish more people would kind of understand, and just it's almost like they got the handcuffs on us. Please just take the handcuffs off. If they would let us just do our thing more so than not all the time, it would be a lot less stress and strife. You know what I mean? But the
Right.
red tape and the hurdles, man, sometimes cause a lot of issues when it comes to wheeling a free wheel in the music game. And you know that we'll get into that too. But yeah, man, I'm glad you played. Man, who was you playing with?
I play with this band called Jungle Love.
Okay, yes,
Um,
yes, you tell me. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we do like this is the only covers band that I play in.
Hmm.
Because I'm more into originals, but I was like, man, I can, go back and play some stuff from the 70s and the
Oh yeah, man.
60s and whatever. And
Yeah,
now, that's kind of fun. So yeah,
yeah.
I like that band. The lead vocalist is incredible.
Right,
She's, people will call her Blue-Eyed Soul because she's white.
right.
But I mean, it's a mixed band,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that's another thing. I mean, we could spend a whole hour talking about this stuff, but it's like musicians, we accept everyone. Like
Everybody.
you can't have a problem with Asian people because your sax player on the next gig could be Asian. You can't
Yep.
have a problem with gay, whatever, because your drummer on the
Right.
next gig could be. And it's like, so we've never done that. As a matter of fact, someone comes to the gig and they look kind of strange. They got like half their hair is blue, the other half is spiked out to the side, not even up, but something crazy. And you're like, I don't know about this cat, but then they play. It's like, yo, we should all get blue hair.
Yeah.
It's like something different. We embrace. Look at that.
Right.
Yeah, the more different, the better.
Yeah. Yep.
For
Diversity.
musicians, diversity. We're like the poster children for diversity because we have to make it work. The main thing is the music, and so you don't have to. I don't. I'm not sure if I care about your background. Your background doesn't matter at the moment. That A flat minor 7 does.
Right.
That matters, and
Yep.
so who hug at night or whatever, that really doesn't matter. But do you know the tune?
Yep.
You
My
know,
thing was, I agree with you, man. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
yeah. So that's one thing that I enjoy about being a musician.
Yeah.
Because you meet different people, and if you're open-minded, you can find out what they're about, and you don't have to agree with them.
Yep. That's
I'm not
right.
saying
That's right.
that.
Yep.
You can sit there and argue, between sets and everything, and then you get up on the stage and you got to come together and play the tune. But at least you can have a conversation with a cat and find out why he thinks that way. And
Exactly.
so then, I think ignorance breeds that hatred.
It does. Because, I tell people this all the time. It's like my daughter's a biracial, I'm mixed, and when now that they're of age, Maya's 12, Kayla's 16. And then we have to get into more of these deeper discussions about life and they realize who they are. They understand. They was like, well, Daddy, I remember in your bands, you had this one, that one, whatever, And I said, well, that's kind of like a metaphor for life. If you look at it in that terms, because I said, I don't like you. I said, listen, I don't care as long as they funky. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could do whatever. I don't care, come what may. If you have 4 hands and 3 feet, as long as you can hit that straight 4 for me, you the drummer.
that means you can play 2 instruments.
Is that right?
So I want you on my gig.
Like that Star Wars cat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
They was jamming in there.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, there's a way to embrace everybody, man. It really is, It really, really is, So, I mean, I'm, having said all of that, I'm just glad. I'm glad that I'm a musician.
Me too. I'm happy, man. Happy that you played last night.
Yeah. I was very. It was good. It felt good, and we had this. People were already there, so we couldn't really sound check. So we just played this little funk, little groove for about a minute, and everyone just kind of lost. We're just making something up. Mm-hmm. And you could tell they were ready. They were starving.
Yes, people are, man. They're hungry. I know down here, because, I drive a lot of Uber, right? Well, not lately I haven't, but I've been, trying to get my hours in to make ends meet. And, I was in Raleigh and, I was in the major areas here. And I could see people in my car when I was taking them to places. They were going out for early dinners. They were just so happy to be alive, number one, and to be able to go out and be part of something that they never thought they would miss. You know what I'm saying? And that's the key. We never saw this coming like this, that we would miss it. And it's almost like the creators, like the universe, like, okay, I'm gonna give y'all a second shot. You know, I'm not gonna spit everybody off the planet, but you got to change some things, man. And one thing I always dug about your music, and we're going to get into that too, is like every independent artist that's doing stuff for mainstream, whatever, somewhere in their music, they're telling a story about their experiences. And I've been working, you know, my little cakewalk, and I've been getting my little tutorials from Kevin. I haven't called you yet, but be expecting it when I get to the DBs. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know, I wrote a song called COVID, you know, 2020, and you know, I've been writing some other things, right? Get your foot off my neck and all this other stuff, because I just feel that way. And as an artist, you mentioned before about our obligation, but even more so, are you putting a lot of what you're seeing today into a lot of your newer creations?
Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah. Yep, I
You
agree.
know, because again, that's our job. I mean, we're not just like the minstrels.
Right.
We're not the wandering minstrels. Well, we do wander, but for just to a little side note, like way back when, and I think with like ancient Greek society, in they had like a pecking order, and the only occupation that was above a musician was a doctor.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's different today, but we have to remember that because they understood how important musicians are. So we have to remember that we have a responsibility. So we can't stick our heads in the sand. We do have to comment, and just like I mean, I have my opinions on everything, Black Lives Matter, different things like that, and I look at okay, this is a time of civil unrest and protests and everything, and that's like back in the 60s, and there was a soundtrack to that.
Yes, there is. Yep.
And so we have to provide the new soundtrack.
Yep, that's right.
And so I wrote a tune called "Thank You" it's not done yet, but it's dedicated to the frontline workers.
Yeah,
because my wife would tell me stories about like we're the last people that a patient sees before they pass away because their family can't come to see them. So we are the substitute family, and I thought that was deep.
Yeah.
And so I just wrote a tune called "Thank You."
Yo, that's beautiful, man. I live across the street from Duke Hospital. So obviously I'm literally within walking distance. I could walk across the street, and I'm within walking distance to the Veterans Hospital. Each are within like less than a quarter of a mile from me. And every day in my apartment complex here, I see a lot of students, a lot of frontline workers, and my kid's mother worked at UNC Hospital. So I definitely have, a connection to that, as well as, a lot of people, in New York, I worked in healthcare, and I'm constantly staying in touch because they were there always, but we just now realize how much they really were there when you said what you just said. And I think it's beautiful, man, that you wrote that song.
Yeah, and then even like I have a tendency to not write using an aggressive tone.
Yeah.
Lyrically, because my thing is always like, how can, let's bring people together. Because that's not my personality.
Right.
But at the same time, how does a person with my personality deal with, get off my neck, or I can't breathe, or, so I'm still kind of looking for a particular voice that I can share with people. I know what I like about music is it is a language, and I call it a non-specific language because, as you listen to my latest CD that's not out yet.
Yeah.
Have a single, but it's mostly instrumental. However, I feel like I'm communicating something, it's non-specific, and you don't have to get it the way I gave it.
Yeah,
You get it the way you need to get it.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and that
yeah.
becomes your soundtrack. In your mind, you could be, you know, protesting something, and you hear one of my tunes, and that kind of that energizes you or whatever, and that's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah.
We really have to provide, like I said, we have to provide a soundtrack.
It's our turn. Yep.
Yeah, and we need that person who writes aggressively, and we need that person who doesn't write. We need everyone to say something, to contribute. That's what
Yep.
we need. You know, here's an opportunity for us as musicians, as creative people, to become more. I don't want to say middle of the road, but like right in the middle of everything, as
Yeah.
opposed to being relegated to the
Right.
outer
Yep.
rim.
Yep. Yep.
You know, because we have voices that people listen to.
Yep.
You know,
That's right.
if only because, oh, he's in my favorite band. Well, because you're, you know, in that band, people will listen to you. You know,
Yep.
my son, he's like, yeah, well, you know, I want to be an influencer. You know, that's like this thing that young people, they
Mhm.
value that as much as money.
Oh
You
yeah, they
know,
do.
having influence, but we kind of, it comes with the gig. You
Yeah.
know, we're musicians, so we are influencers, and we
Yep.
have to
Yep.
take that seriously. We
Yep. And
really
you
do.
know, I'm so glad you spoke on that because you've just tied a lot of things together that sometimes people like myself can't really express, but I feel the same way. That's why I love doing, doing this show. Again, you're with Funk Music with Zach. We have Mr. William Bush, aka Prez, my main man, my funk brother, and all that good stuff right here on ibm.tv, hanging out with us today. And he's going to play some of his new music, some music for us in a little bit. But getting back to your quote about being an influencer for the young kids, we've always had that mindset, but we had to kind of do it a little differently. And now with social media, which is something I wanted to ask you about,
Mm.
because of our current situation, social media now has become the new quote unquote platform. It already was in a way, but people were still able to go do live stuff. So
Mm.
with the live stuff still teetering about how, where do you see going forward music and social media becoming even more of a match? You know what I mean?
Well, uh, it's
Pat
just the
says hi, by the
technology.
way. Pat Dioria says hello, Miss Pat.
Oh, okay, yeah. Hey, Pat, how you doing? Um, yeah, it's, you know, technology is going to take us to the point where we have this going on. We have a lot of people that, if you go on YouTube, personally, I think YouTube is more interesting than the radio, because you can find new artists. You're allowed to be new and be different and everything, you know, because of technology. And so now you have people giving these concerts from home. At
Yeah,
first, when the lockdown first happened, you saw people hanging, you know, like drapes in their living room to create a little stage and everything.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
know, last night I was watching something by Brian Culbertson, you know, the keyboard player, and you know he was in his studio, and it was like really, the production value was very high.
yeah,
So that is going to be a new thing. Now the issue is, now how, for musicians, how do we monetize that? We
yeah. How do we
shouldn't.
get paid? Yep,
Yeah, we shouldn't. We can't give everything away. In
yep.
the spirit, a friend of mine, a fantastic vocalist, Vince. His name is Vince. He lives in France. I did his last album, and he used to work with Sting. He was in Sting's band for a minute, but he was signed to his label, and he used to open shows for him. Fantastic vocalist and percussionist, you know. And when all this stuff first happened, he was like, look, he created a show, you know, he still has it every week, 2 drink minimum. um, every week he goes on there and he shares his music, and he's done so many things. um, but he was like, yo, you don't have to pay for anything because nobody's making money. Look, just come and listen, enjoy. you know, and we have a responsibility to do that. But at some point, we have to figure out how to monetize it because everybody else is monetizing
Yep.
us.
Yes, exactly. And I know that's something you've always been big on, and I really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And I learned a lot from you in the business about that. So let's get into your background a little bit. Tell me a little bit about how, you know, what you were into and how you came up and, you know, how you got to be the guy that you are right here in front of me right now. What are some of the things you was into, bro?
Well, first of all, when I was younger, I was more into art than music.
Mm-hmm.
And my brother, we moved from Queens, New York to Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Right.
And we got a phone call and someone was offering my brother free organ lessons. And he's older by a year and change, year and a half or something like that. And so we're pretty close together in age. So anything that he had, I just had to have. So you know, I wasn't gonna let that slide. So he got free organ lessons. And they gave him a month, right? So somehow my mother talked him into doing that for me as well. So we had 4 weeks, and at 4 weeks they would give you a test to see if you were any good. And so at the end of the 4 weeks, they gave him a test. He was like, whatever. And then I took the test and I got a perfect score. And they were like, well, he should keep going. And so, I started playing the organ. And this was Bridgeport, Connecticut. So you had two choices. If you wanted to play any kind of keyboard, it was the organ or the accordion.
I feel you. Right. Obvious choice.
So it was the organ. It was the organ,
Yeah.
And I didn't, so I started playing that, and I was not really aware of funk yet. But then a friend of mine, Daryl, he was a year older than I was. He was in the next grade up. We used to hang around with him, and he played this record. Let me get that. It's kind of slipping. He played a record by this group, and I was like, wow, this look crazy. It was Parliament Funkadelic.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't even know who they are, but whatever they got, I want some of that. They look like that picture where you got Mike Hampton, you got Gary, he's got the glasses on, and everyone's there. They got some makeup, like tribal kind of makeup in it. It's a black and white picture. I saw that, I pretty much lost my mind.
Yeah. Yo, move your camera down just a pinch for me. Yeah, like perfect. That? Right there. Yeah. Just a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, it's like kind of slipping here.
Nah, you good, bro. You good. Yeah, we make adjustments on the fly. Yeah, man, perfect. So that picture, you lost it.
Yeah, man. I was like, oh man. And when I heard the music, I was like, this is some different stuff. And I heard Bootsy, but I didn't become like really into it. It's just like a little taste. And then I heard Stevie Wonder. And then up in Bridgeport, Connecticut, it was AM radio.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm listening to tunes by like ABBA and like Helen Reddy and stuff.
Yeah.
So these are pop tunes, and 10cc and all this other, and so I have this like really strong kind of melodic pop kind of sensibility, but then I got this funk thing. And then when we moved back to New York City, I started playing in bands and everything. And all of my friends wanted to play funk. And I'm like, oh, so that's what that flashlight, and that's what that is. I didn't even know what it was called.
Right.
And so I came down to Queens, and now it's a different environment. Now I'm not up in Bridgeport. I was like one of two black kids in the class. I came back down to New York. I keep saying back because that's where I started out in New York.
Yeah.
And now I'm surrounded by, the same color.
You got some dirt on you. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then this is around the time when rap music was first coming out, you know, Rapper's Delight and everything, and that affected me as well. So all of that stuff. One of the first bands that I played in, we actually teamed up with a crew of DJs and MCs, and we would do gigs together. So way
Wow. Okay.
before anybody was mixing and matching that stuff, we were doing that. We didn't think that it was groundbreaking. We just did it, and
Yeah.
then we started opening for other people, kind of moving up. That band eventually broke up, and then I started doing my own thing, putting together bands, and I started writing music, and I found out that's when I just started to discover jazz, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think we all owe it to ourselves to experience jazz as musicians.
Oh yes, yes we do. Yes we
We
do. I didn't
do.
get
We
into it till
do.
later, but I caught it. And like you, I didn't. You personally, you got into it earlier than me. I didn't get into jazz until after the fusion, because the fusion was my bridge back to jazz. Because once I found out those cats were all accomplished jazz musicians with Stanley Clark and Chick Corea, I was like, those are jazz guys. And then my friends were like, yeah, you got to go back. These are jazz guys doing this electric fusion funk jazz stuff. I was like, oh, so let me go back. But I knew Miles, I knew Coltrane, I knew those guys. But when I first heard Return to Forever, I wanted to stop playing music that
Yeah.
day. I told my friend Gary Borders, you know Gary, you played with him.
Yeah.
I said, Gary, this is not for me. I said, I'll never be able to do this. I told him straight up. I heard Return to Forever, and I messed with it a little bit. I threw my sticks. I was like, I'm done. I'll do something else. Because if this is how good I have to be, I'm never going to get there. Because it was just incredible to me to hear that. And I'm so glad to this day they did that music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you know what? What I started to, I guess every day I kind of reaffirm this, but especially Miles Davis, you're supposed to play what you play.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. If you can play fast, that's what you're supposed to do. If you can't play fast, well, then you do something different. Because Miles, his playing fast. I mean, he could play fast, but he was like, that's not how that's not really me. My thing is choosing notes.
Color, yeah.
Color,
Yeah.
And fusion, that was just that was a label that they used because they didn't want to use a jazz label, but it was still jazz. It was still jazz. The mentality was still, that conversation, that ongoing conversation.
Yeah.
And so, when I did discover that, it's like I tried to incorporate that. The first person I discovered was like Jimmy Smith.
Okay.
On organ court. I heard this tune. I got my mojo working, and I lost my mind. I heard that.
Yeah, one of our watchers, Tish Oakley, she was asking, isn't jazz music like the basis of a lot of the music that we hear? Because I'm reading the thread as you're talking. If people ask questions, I wanted to I didn't mean to cut you up, but I wanted to let you know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Is jazz music, besides Jimmy Smith, is that like the basis or the root to a lot of stuff?
Well, I think yes, because in all styles of music, there's improvisation. And improvisation came from jazz. And as a matter of fact, it might sound really deep, but life is jazz because
it is.
We're
That's
making
right.
We're making up this conversation right now. We're improvising.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So what the jazz genre did was just kind of embrace that part of it and do it musically instead of verbally. And just like now. Chronologically, before there was rock and roll, the most popular music was swing music, which was a type of jazz, and that was the first pop music. That was the most popular music in the world. Swing music, jazz music.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we all came from that, and that's why we do have to, especially men of color. We absolutely, in the United States, that is an American art form, jazz.
Yeah, it is. That's right.
And we should embrace that, and we should never let that fall to the wayside, whether or not we play it ourselves, we have to
Yep.
hold it up in high esteem, because if it wasn't for that, you know, Louis Armstrong and all those cats, we would not be here.
That's right.
And
That's right.
funk,
That's right.
funk music, I was like, you know, I always tell people, yeah, you know, one day there was a gig and the cats, you know, nobody, the cat didn't know the tune, man. So he said, you know, I really need this money, so let me do this hit. I don't know the tune, so I'm gonna have to make something up. And they, you know, keep it simple. Let's just play one chord, you know, and then
Yep.
there it is, you know.
Yep.
And even though it's one chord, funk is jazz.
It is, and you know what I was going to say? I tell people in a similar way, and you're getting a lot of comments on the thread too. And hello, everybody. Thank you for following us. We're sitting here with Mr. William Bush, Funk Music with Zach on ibm.tv on Super Sunday, so please join us all the time. But I tell people, listen, break it down like this. I told them, because I told you I taught at the school around for a minute, and I used to tell my students, you know, I said, listen, jazz and soul had a baby, and they called it R&B. And I said R&B used to like to hang out at night, never wanted to stay home. So R&B one night was hanging out, met a girl, and they had an illegitimate child, and they called it funk.
Yeah, that's
Right. Think about it now, because it's in the dark, it's underground, and my kids looked at me and they was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, "Tell your parents that."
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yo, man, before you chop it up a little bit, and we're gonna have you back on the show. Just time is flying, but I want to make sure you get your songs in. But tell the people out in the audience just some of the people that you have worked with in the past, man, and that you've been able to spread your wings, man, with. You know what I'm saying? They need to know.
Oh, okay. Tupac Shakur,
Mm-hmm.
KRS-One,
Yep.
Salt and Pepper.
Yep.
Not really them. I did stuff for their label.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Lion, Benny King. That's probably the first gig I ever got. Benny King. I did several albums with him. Anita Baker, Aretha Franklin.
Didn't you do something with Rick James?
No, not Rick James.
Okay,
That would have been crazy. I'd have a ton of stories for that one.
Yeah,
because that cat was he was.
What was Aretha like? What was Aretha like?
I don't know, because she lived in Detroit. She didn't like to fly, so we were working in Westchester, and so I was working with this producer Barry Eastman.
I know Barry.
Yeah, and so we would have to messenger the stuff back and forth. So we would work on the tune and send it to her, and she would put her stuff on and send it back to us. I'm saying I was a producer. I was just a keyboard player.
Yeah.
And that particular tune, it originally started out for In Vogue, that group from back in
I remember.
90s.
Yeah. I love them Vogue. Yeah, love them.
But they didn't take the tune, and like 4 or 5 years later, Aretha Franklin heard it and she wanted it. So then I had to get all my files together and everything, and we had to recreate it, because she was like, I want exactly that, don't change anything. So I had to go back, and find everything, all the sounds. She wanted the sounds and everything. So it was intimidating in that it was Aretha Franklin, but I was never in the same room with her. I was there when they mixed it. I was there when we arranged it, and I laid down all the parts and what have you. But there are a lot of times you don't, because I worked with Christina Aguilera. I did something for Christina Aguilera.
I remember you told me that. Yeah, you told me that.
Yeah, I never met her, and that's just the way technology is. You don't have to be in the same room with someone to work with people. Even now during COVID, I work with people online. We're never in the same room, but yet I'm doing records with them. So it's just a thing. It just happens. But it was, man, it was quite an adventure. And then I toured Lisa and Cult Jam, Cheryl Pepsi Riley, fantastic vocalist. Oh my goodness. I can't. It seems like there's a lot more. Oh, Maxwell. Probably the most incredible vocalist I ever worked with.
Yeah, he's insane. He's
Yeah,
insane. He's insane.
absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And a lot of a lot of people that no one's ever heard of, but they
Yeah.
were just magnificent, are magnificent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mark
So
wants to know, when do you think live music will come back on the scene full fledged?
now you mean like a big concert kind of
I
live
think
music?
that's what. Yeah, I think that's what he meant. Yeah, I think that's what he's talking about.
Well, they're talking about 2022.
Wow. So we got to go a whole nother year?
That's what they're saying. At first they said 2021, but now we have this resurgence. And the thing is, an event like that, you have like 10, 15,000 people. Yeah, that could turn into a hotspot.
Yeah, you're
So
right.
nobody wants to take that responsibility, so they're just like waiting it out. Live Nation, all these companies, they're just trying to wait it out. But what they're doing, they're trying to figure out ways to do these virtual concerts
Yeah, I saw
because
that. Yeah.
you have Metallica doing, I forgot what album they did live and everything, and no one's there, but they're doing these performances, which, when you were in a wedding band or something, you did that video, like your audition video. Basically, that's what we're going to have to do now.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
these kind of videos where there's no audience and you're just giving a full performance.
Yeah. So tell us about
Yeah.
your new song. But first, I wanted to address something that Pat said. She loves Maxwell and she says he's hot. Mark wants to know what you feel about the blues,
Oh,
because
the
he's a blues
blues.
guy. Yeah, he's a blues guy.
Well,
You know.
the blues is the part of jazz that everything came from. Rock and roll came from the
That's right.
blues.
That's right.
Because you had the blues, then you had rhythm and blues, and then you had rock and roll, then you had rock, and then we kept going. But the blues, it's your three primary chords. That's where everything comes from.
Yeah. Yeah.
The blues that came from the Negro spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a reason for that too. There's a reason for that. It's like those three chords are very, very important.
Yeah.
And rock and roll, the 1-4-5, man. The
Yep. Yep.
1-4-5.
Yep.
Blues is the very most important jazz style in existence. Because
That's
we have
right.
nothing else if it wasn't for that.
That's right. Yo, so tell us
That's what
about
I
this
feel
new.
like.
Tell us about your new song before you play some stuff. Tell us what you're trying to, you want us to know about, and how can people follow you, which is very important. I always ask that right about this time because we got about 20, 25 minutes left. So how can people follow you and find your music?
Well, you can go. Well, I have a website, funkyprez.com, right? You can go on Facebook. You can friend me, William Bush, or you can follow me as Prez. Doesn't matter. So you can find me there. All my music, you can go on to CD Baby, iTunes, wherever you get music, I'm there.
Yeah.
So, but the best way is to go to my website, and you can send me an email. Facebook is fine too. And you send me a message, I'll get right back to you. No big deal.
Cool.
So like the single that I'm getting ready to release, it's an instrumental. The next batch of music that I'm going to release is instrumental music because I wanted to make a statement. It was a personal statement.
You was telling me, yeah.
Yeah, I felt as if words got in the way.
Yeah, you was telling me, yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted it to be instrumental. And the first tune is called I Wonder. And it's really, kind of like an R&B tune. It's an instrumental R&B tune. I'm not going to play it today because it's very produced, but it's cool. It was very easy for me to come up with because it's what I do. And that's what I wanted this to be, a reflection of me, this next batch of music, this next CD.
Yeah. I get it, bro. I get it, man. So what you got for us, man? What you gonna chop up for us?
Okay. I'm gonna do a tune off of the next CD. And every tune on the CD is dedicated to a family member. So it's either like a feeling that I got or a feeling that I feel when I think of them, or just, something
That's beautiful.
that kind of came into being through materialized through music. So each one is like a reflection or my kind of perspective on someone. So this first tune is called Melody's Melody. My daughter, her name is Melody. So this is her tune. She got a kick out of it. I used to play it at gigs, and I put it on, I'd FaceTime her, and I'd sit the phone up there and I'd play it, and she'd check it out. So let me see.
Cool. Mr. William Bush, we're going to put you on the full screen. Mr. William Bush right here.
All right. Just change it. There we go. Is that loud enough? That's cool. Here we go.
Yo, that's beautiful, man. What was the name of that?
That's Melody's Melody.
Melody's Melody. Okay, that's for your
Yeah.
daughter. Yo,
Yep.
give us another one, man. Give us another one.
All right. Okay. This one. Let me see if I can get the. All right. You'll see my. You
Yeah,
see
we
my
see your
hand.
hands. We got you.
Okay. All right. This tune. This is for my father,
Oh, okay.
and it's called. It's called This Old House.
And I know we lost him recently, and I remember when you was going through that, man. And my condolences. I know what that's like, and it's beautiful that you did something for your dad, man. That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Here we are,
Thank
Funk
you.
Music with Zach, live with William Bush on ibm.tv, giving us an exclusive from New York. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. All right. There we go.
I have to tell you, bro, that's bringing tears to my eyes. I never met your dad, but man, I could feel him in that music. I could feel him in that song. Um, you're an amazing cat. That's just a sample of what you do, man, and that's beautiful. That's awe
Thank
inspiring. From here, I'm
you.
telling you, from here, man. Before you get to your last word, Mark just had a question. Our producer, what was that, Mark?
Yeah, a couple of actually it was just a couple of very quick questions. One is I wondered if Prez had ever had the pleasure of meeting or working with Catrice Barnes. She was a late friend of mine that worked out of the New York scene and was a musician, and also wanted to know if he'd worked with Norman Connors or Chip Sharon. But then the question that I had that I was really curious about was funk music has somehow managed to avoid the divide. Like I know that in all other music styles, y'all have talked about blues, you talked about jazz, and there's like the difference between straight ahead and smooth jazz in blues. There's a difference between like the Memphis sound, the Chicago sound, and the different other sounds. But I've never heard of that kind of even hip hop. There's the difference between like the New York hip hop and the LA hip hop. But I've never heard of that divide in funk music. And I was just wondering, in your opinion, how is it able to avoid that? Because funk music just seems to be like one big family and a happy family, but it doesn't really seem to have that divide that other music styles have.
Well, first, no, I never had the pleasure of working with your friend, but we ran in the same circles because I would hear the name, like Lisa Fisher, a few other vocalists. They were those session cats and everything, and her name was like kind of in that circle of those really top shelf vocalists. And then to your other question, funk music. Actually, there are a hardcore funk person. There are definitely different types of funk, but the nature of funk is all inclusive. That's just the nature. So you're not going to have uh, just a black audience or a white audience. I did a gig one time with George Clinton out in Utah, and most of the audience was white. We didn't change the show. We didn't do anything different. It's just funk. It brings you in. It's very simple. It's very down to earth. It's earthy. It appeals to a very basic part of who we are. So I don't think it wouldn't serve anyone to try to categorize it. First of all, it would be very hard to do so, because funk is a feeling, and I know
It's an
different
attitude.
conversations. It's an attitude, and it's not a stylistic thing. There are some stylistic elements that have to be there for something to be funky, but I mean, you can take any song, Aerosmith. Just Aerosmith is funky. Led Zeppelin is funky. It's
Yep.
that part of the tune that makes you go like this. That's funk right there.
Yeah.
And everybody's favorite music, you go like that.
Yep.
Mhm.
You go like that. So that's funk is everywhere. You can't get away from that. And I
Yep.
think
So
that's why.
so tell
No,
us
I would
about
definitely
this
agree.
last tune that you're actually going to do, because I know we're running out of time, and I want to make sure you get that in. What is this last cut that you're going to do for us?
Oh, the last one.
Yeah.
Now this one is called A Long Kiss Goodnight.
Okay. Let's hear that. Let's hear that. A
Yeah.
long kiss goodnight. I want to hear that. Yo, I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't want to ever assume. You're not
Don't
talking
get me.
about that. No. I was just gonna say I'm assuming who you wrote that for, so you can tell us. Just move over a little bit so I can see you. Like, yeah, there you go.
There's only one. That's my wife.
I know. I was gonna say that. That's what I was gonna say. I'm assuming. I didn't know. I was
Yeah.
like, your daughter's a little older now, but I can see, Rachel, how that's her. Everything you just played, and you said this disc is about songs that you were inspired from your family. I can hear it, bro. I can hear it, man. And it's like, again, Mr. William Bush, what can I say? Funk music with ZACK on ibm.tv. You are one of the most amazing people I've ever had in my life. I was telling Mark about you, and I always talk about you, and he just mentioned that to me. He said after speaking about you so much and now meeting you, he understands why I speak the way I do of you.
Wow.
You literally saved my life. And I won't go into detail, but you know what I'm talking about. And had you not been there, I would not be here. And I'm not ashamed to tell people where I was at. When we weren't even playing together at that time,
Right.
I'm 900 miles away, but I was able to pick up the phone, at 2:30 in the morning and call you, man. And let me tell you something. When we do finally get back together, I'm just letting people know because we did our thing, yes, but now we got new stuff, this and that. But let me tell you, it's going to be time to crush stuff. And you know what I'm talking about, because I'm upset they didn't have us on the Funkateers Ball this time, and I put our bid in for 2022, and it's okay. But they know, and like I said, now that I got my little studio set up, we're going to be doing some great music. Again, man, tell people where they can find you and your new stuff coming out. What's the title, or do you have a title for your new CD yet?
So the song that I didn't play, I Wonder, that's out now. So you can look for it on iTunes or wherever. I Wonder, William Michael Bush. And the reason I gave my full name, that's a dedication to my parents.
Right,
that's
right,
the name
right.
they gave. Everyone else knows me as Prez, and that's cool. But I think when I do my instrumental stuff, it'll be William Michael Bush. When I do the more funky kind of things, that's gonna be regular Prez stuff. And we didn't even talk about the gospel stuff. But
we didn't get into that. Yep.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's just music.
Yeah, it is. It is all music. So believe me, I have a whole collection of CDs. So when musicians that I listen to, you're in that. You, Jeff, Kevin, John. That's the stuff I listen to when I'm not listening to P-Funk or Dumpster Funk or Earth, Wind or Chaka Khan or whatever, Mother's Finest. But again, it's been a pleasure, and we're going to sit here and chat until we move on a little bit. But I just wanted to tell people, you're an amazing musician, artist, father, brother, teacher, minister of music, all that good stuff rolled into one, brother. And I'm honored to have you as my brother and my friend, man. Let me tell you, I'm honored, man. And I just want you and your family to stay safe up there. And, we're always going to keep you in our prayers. We all have to do that. And I love what you said to the young people, about responsibility that we have to music, and to make a point of it. If you had one last thing to say that you were going to tell people out there today, and it could be about anything, what would you want the essence of what we talked about today to be to these young people out there?
Well, that probably would be a little bit different, or I'd go a little further. If I was talking to young people, I would say that you guys don't realize how powerful you are. We were all born with power. We just it takes us a while to recognize it. Some of us longer than others, but we're born with a certain power. We're born with a light, let's call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think young people need to get used to shining, because this is what when you shine, and this is these are really not my words. It was a famous poem, our deepest fear. She says that you shining will give other people permission to shine.
Right.
And that's what we need to do. If we present the best version of ourselves, we can possibly encourage other people to do the same. And if
Right.
we're busy shining and presenting the best possible version of ourselves, we don't have room or time for all of this negativity that happens when you're not busy improving yourself. So young people have a lot at their fingertips. They have technology, they know it better than we do. They have all of these kind of ins, and they need to take advantage of them. Even like, this age of protests and everything, this is an opportunity for young people to, whatever you believe in, to actually let your voice be heard. So live up to your potential, shine your light, and then you can possibly encourage other people to shine as well.
Yo, you guys heard that? Shine your light, and you can encourage others to shine a light. And this brother has been shining his light for many years and will continue to shine it. I'm fortunate to have met him and, worked with him and, but yeah, man, this is the real. And I'm so grateful to you for joining us today on Super Sunday Funk Music with Zach. Anytime you want to come back, we'd love to have you. And again, we are working on some different ways to try to, monetize it and make some things happen with that, with the IBM producers and everything. So, Mark, you met Prez finally. This is my brother. This is the man. This is one I
met Prez, and like I said, I was really impressed with Prez. Really was enjoying a lot of the comments that he had to say, and definitely was enjoying that playing. I'm a big fan of great music, and I could tell that he was a great musician. We're going to segue into a little bit of a roundtable discussion here at IBM. Prez, if you would love to stay, I would love to have you stick around for the conversation. I don't know what your schedule is looking like, but if you can stick around, we would love to have you join us in this discussion. As a matter of fact, I'm sure one of the things that folks would love to know is how you actually met ZACK, because ZACK is part of the IBM family. So you've known him even longer than we have. So I'm sure folks would like to know how you actually met ZACK, who is part of our IBM family.
You might have to repeat that question.
Well, now I can't really. You kind of break.
He wanted to know how we met. Yeah, he wanted to know how we actually.
What you were saying.
Yeah, he wanted to know how we actually met. You and I. Yeah, how we met. You and I, how we met.
Oh, how we met. Actually, everything is getting like really kind of broken out. How we met. Well, Pearl, he called me for the Nappy Head gig. And I remember, me, it was the two of us and Stro, bass player Stro. He was on the gig. And we got together and we tried to learn all the tunes. And we got on the gig and I forgot stuff and I started making stuff up. And then you liked it. So I stayed on the gig. And then we just kept going and kept going and kept going. And it turned in, Nappy Head took on a life of its own. For a band that never rehearsed.
I know.
It was crazy what we were able to accomplish.
You were the missing link.
We just it became a family.
Yep. You were the missing link because when Pearl came into the band, he couldn't, it was so much that I wanted him to do. And since we already had two guitar players, he was like, listen, I know a guy I got to bring in. And he said his name is Prez. I said, what's his whole name? He said, no, they just call him Prez. And you came in, you were just looking like you had that look. I was like, I don't care what this guy sounds like. He looks good. And then when you got up there, that's why I always wanted to put you up front, right? But when you played, I was just like everybody that came in nappy. I was like, yeah, just play that. I don't care. Just play that. Because he's right. We never would really rehearse because everybody was scattered. And it was always such a good feeling. We actually rehearsed for the first 3 years on stage. And then after we got going, it became that thing. But yeah, this brother, he was the missing link. When he came in, when him and Kevin came in, because I was on drums at first, when Kev took the seat and Ainsley took the seat and I went up front and you came in, that was the missing link. And that's when it took off, you know, because you was you. And I was like, I'm loving this, man. I'm loving it. And I apologize for always trying to break your keyboards by shaking them. I used to go up to him. I would be so pumped up. And he would look at me like, you're crushing my stuff. Couldn't help it. The music.
You were just too excited. That's all. You just got too excited and too hyped.
You wait, because I'm the same way now.
Well, you still the same way. Exactly.
A little slower, but I'm the same way, man. Yo, this is Ankit, Jim, and Lynn. Lynn is sponsored, and Jim is sponsored. Meet my man Prez, William Bush, IBMTV family. Welcome you, bro. Love you, man. Love you.
Welcome. Yeah, that was great. And Zach, I was having trouble picking you out because your clothing made you hard to see.
Yeah. I'm cloaking today.
Right.
How are you, Lynn?
You got a big smile.
I'm here.
Doing okay, Zach. Go ahead, Prez.
Zach's doing. Jim, what did you think of the music? Did you get a chance to hear any of the music that Prez was playing, and what did you think of it? And then, Prez, I got a question for you. Jim is actually a master chess player, and it's one of the things we do. We got several chess shows on here, so I want to know: are you a chess player at all?
I don't think he could hear you, Mark. He said it was breaking up. He asked if you play chess.
I don't know. Yeah, everybody's breaking really badly. Now I'm not understanding anything. There's like a delay. I don't know if there's something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, but I'll answer Mark's question to me. And I did get to hear a little piece of it. And I have to say that you don't have to be loud to be good. Because that was soft music and I was loving it.
Oh my gosh, I melted. Your song for your dad, that just melted my heart. And it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Prez, this is Kim, one of our producers and owners at IBM. That's Prez. And she was mentioning about your song for your dad, how beautiful it was.
All right.
I don't think you can hear us. Maybe it broke up or something as we split the screen.
Well,
it's a shame.
The hotter it gets, the more problems I have. And I've just actually managed to get Spectrum to agree to come out here.
I'm not really hearing anything.
Sorry.
Well, Zach, you tell him we're complimenting him.
I am. I'm gonna text him and let him know.
I'm gonna check the private chat. I'll send it too.
Okay.
There you go. But Zach knows how to get in touch with him. I mean, you tell him that we just loved it, and if he gets back on, we'll fix his audio.
I just text. Can you guys hear me fine?
Yeah,
I can hear you loud and clear, Kim.
Okay. I had Spectrum online with me most of the day. So trying, you know how they are. They have to test everything. So, but anyway. So how's everybody doing other than I am just totally like energized from all of this music. And Zach's energy just exudes from all of this. How's everybody doing?
Beautiful.
I'm all a tingle with excitement because I think Alexandra May is coming on soon.
Oh,
and Zach, you're going to be on that show.
Zach, are you going to be?
I can't wait.
Did I see that are you going to be on her show, Zach?
Yeah. She invited me on, so that's beautiful. I'm getting ready to hang out with her, and we're going to get into some stuff. And that's why I got my fatigues on today. I wanted to blend into every surrounding I'm in.
You didn't want the lions to get you.
I tell you what, we have hit big time when we've got two big timers like you and Alexandra together in one show. Oh my gosh, this is totally awesome.
So Jim is going to have to learn to play play an instrument or sing so that he can get invited on to Alexandra's show? Because
Well-
I know Jim, Jim feels like this and he needs to get on that show.
Well, they,
Well,
they have
it's
a
like
chess
Zach.
match.
I could be the
They have a
front man.
chess match.
See that most good frontmen, they start out as drummers in the back, and then eventually we work our way to the front because that's where the action is. You know what I'm saying?
So
Well, I want to start at the front.
But Jim, I'm thinking that you can master the harmonica. Jim, I'm thinking you can master the harmonica.
Yeah.
So yes,
I
then
can
you
do a
can be
little
the harmonica front man.
Yeah.
Kazoo works. You don't have to slow it
Tiny
down. You just go along with a kazoo. I don't know about you guys, but I can play a kazoo pretty good.
Well, you could be up front with a kazoo. Yeah, I would like that.
Song though. I have a song. Have any of you heard it?
I have heard your song.
Yeah, I do have a
Mark,
country
you're
song.
way ahead of me.
Bye, Prez. See you
Bye,
later, buddy.
Prez. That was great, and I'm
Yeah.
so honored that Prez came, and I'm sure. I mean, my gosh, Zach, this is great. What the music that you bring to this show and network.
Yeah, we're trying to make it work because we're going to be #1 with that. So, everybody that I know, and that's why I was very fortunate. New York has always been this plethora of cats. And when you start running in those circles, we used to all do 2-3 gigs a night with all different bands. And we would all just know each other when Wetlands and CBGBs and all of that stuff was happening. The Black Rock Coalition, Living Color came out of that, Vernon Reed, and, Government Mule came out of that. So we all just knew each other because New Yorkers, one thing about New York musicians, we're loyal to the gig. So if somebody says we're going to come up and show up for a gig, you have to show up. You got to always bring your A game because you never know who's going to be on the gig. Like he mentioned Barry Eastman. Right now, I know Barry. I played with Barry. Barry was actually the music director for the Broadway show Cats. So anytime you have a guy that comes from doing a Broadway show from 8 to 12, and then you see him in the club at 1 o'clock in the morning, you better bring your A game. You have to bring your A game because this guy has been on Broadway 4 hours earlier. So when you have that kind of competition, it always keeps you on point. Always, you have to always be on point. And when I met that whole Queens connection, they accepted me because I had my chops up. Had I not had my chops up, I would have been able to get in that clique. And once you're in that clique, you could call a guy for a gig. They could just come on and cold bash the gig. And that's how my band was born. I didn't have a band when we did George Clinton's birthday party. He asked me, a friend of mine, Craig Ajama, said, hey, I'm doing this party for George Clinton. Do you have a band? Can you put the band together? I just started calling people. And that's how I started my band. But, I'm just blessed and fortunate to have a platform to bring these people on so the world can see what they do.
And this is this isn't about you. This isn't about even them. This is about sharing this experience with people who are just, stuck at home and not even able to go out and hear them. But also what I have learned about musicians is they want to be appreciated in that. So it's so freaking funny. I forget. I think it was Nguyen, right? He said, I got a call from one of our musicians and they wanted to know if we can have one of those studio clap sounds. So, so that we could play.
They're doing that in baseball now.
They'll clap. So I'm like, well, let's do it. I love it. Let's go ahead and plug it into that dashboard because I think that they deserve that, right? They deserve to hear it. Although they're probably like getting the good feel from the text messages from people. They don't get that after the show has aired and when people watch it like me, because a lot of times I'm working and then I might plug it in later. So we need that. And we'll give that clapping sound. But I want to tell you guys, I got an idea. I've been listening to the musicians. I know this is hard on artists, okay? Artists of all kinds and not just the musicians, okay? There are other kinds of artists, that counted on exhibits, exhibitions for their artwork to make money for them, right? Like painters and sketchers, and then you've got performing artists like dancers, and so I mean, But here, and then there was another group that wanted us to do something with them, and Ankit and I just ran out of bandwidth to help. But there are the models, the fashion models, right? They didn't get to have their fashion shows this year, or the artists got to show their work to be made. So why not have a marathon one weekend, right? Ankit and I had talked about this, and this is what I was going to suggest. Is we try to work together as a team, and it's going to take a lot of work, but we run a full weekend marathon, and it's all die-hard music like what we've been hearing, just some of the best artists. Hey, bring your best game on, and we're going to run it live, and have a donation set up, so and then all the proceeds can go to the musicians that played that weekend. And I
believe that's a great idea, but when you said marathon, Lynn and I just went, whoa.
Yeah, well, we're not into running marathons, okay? Like, it's called marathons. I'm sure we can get some Ironman. Actually, I know an Ironman, the world's most famous Ironman. I could probably get him to come on and help be a spokesperson. He's a great spokesperson.
Tony Stark?
No, yeah, I darn if I wish. It's Ankit.
That's a you didn't know Ankit was a marathon runner? I thought you knew that, Jim.
He's pulled over 200 shows straight.
Oh,
but anyway, no, it's Iron Cowboy, and if you go look him up, he has broken World Guinness records, and he's a friend of mine, and I can probably see if he would gladly honor us in being a spokesperson. Even though you guys are great, it doesn't hurt to have athletes, and stuff like that come on and really be a part of the team here and help run it, because here's the thing about him. Okay, he's not only used to running shows for 24 to 72 hours straight. He's used to physically running, swimming, riding bikes, and torturing his body.
Triathlete.
You looked him up, didn't you?
Yeah,
I
did.
Freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And you should talk to him. Like, he is like, Google him, say hi to him. Go text him and say hi. Say, hey, Kim was talking about you on our show.
Yeah. Too bad Sasha's not here because he's from Calgary.
Yeah. But he's just got this energy that he's a what you call one of those inspirational spokespeople. So, but maybe we can even get another, to me, marathon type person is Henny Morales. Maybe he would jump on board and help be a spokesperson for a section of it. So what I'm thinking is that we build a marathon with some of these great musicians. Maybe start one weekend of nothing but music, another weekend arts of different kinds, and then. But I think these marathons, what we do is we set them up so that the money comes back into the musicians and the artists, and then maybe we can engage in getting the fashion world on our network and come up with some ideas on how they can do a fashion show. We joke about, I want to wear some of the clothes, but that doesn't need to happen. We just need to figure out a really cool.
I think Lenny and I can be on it.
Here, one thing I'd be concerned about is we need to make sure that Jim gets to the doctor and they give him a green light to watch the fashion people, because you know how Jim's in love with Alexandra. So I just would be really concerned about Jim with. Oh, your wife can hear. I'm sorry.
Oh no! So here's the thing. They have to play chess.
That's right. That's what Kimberly missed out. But she has chess sets, so I fell back.
They have to. But if you don't play chess, Jim's not interested.
Well, music is close. So if you're a musician, I'll cut you some slack.
So what do you think of my idea? And then maybe
I love it. That's what I was just texting Prez about that. But when you had when you had mentioned, because I was letting him know what you guys were saying, and he says thank you. He'd love to come back again and do it, obviously. And he's really a down to earth spirited person. But your idea covers all bases, and the way you was kicking it to me, Kim, when we was on the show, I could actually see that happening as we're doing it. And I'm down for the marathon, because if anybody can stay up 24 hours, it's me.
I know, right?
Right now. Tell you right now.
I'll be the guy at the end of the marathon going, yes, you passed. Yeah.
Now, I'm not running. I'm not running ever. But I'll be up and I'll do what I got to do because I work best from 12 o'clock to 5 in the morning anyway, you know. And I know Rick, you guys had Rick on the other day, and he spilled my secret about working till 5 a.m. in the morning. Mark told me about that. You know, Rick and I was online, you know, working till 5 a.m. Then I got back up at 9. But yes, I think that the appreciation factor, Kim, that you mentioned about just offering is a lot of times musicians and artists and, you know, fashion models and people who paint, a lot of times they just want the offer of something more so than figuring out what it actually is, because the one thing everybody on this panel needs is appreciation, you know, Mark, Anki. That's why I'm always overkilling you guys about how much I appreciate you when you see me doing little things on the thread, because it does fill my heart. It does mean a lot. And I say it sincerely. I'm not just saying it for overkill. I really mean it. So that's what this is, you know. That's what this is. That's why we're going to be number one. So I'm a grinder.
Well, you know what? It's going to take, you know, a marathon like this is going to take us really pulling together, but I think we could pull it off. And let's just pick a day that suits everyone and do it. I'm even thinking, you know, we don't have to do it tomorrow or next week. I'm thinking September sounds like a good time. Mm-hmm. September should be the turning point of hopefully COVID. Hopefully we'll see it coming down and we'll have something to celebrate. And September is also a time when kids go back to school. So there's a lot of reasons to celebrate the month of September. I think we have a freaking Labor Day, but we don't need that.
and since I'm number 9, it's the 9th month. So
wow.
I'm with that.
Yes.
Oh, I'm thinking with you.
He's always thinking.
Always.
Number 9.
Number 9. Can't go wrong with September.
No, I'm loving it. What do you think, Kit?
That's something interesting, but I think we should also celebrate when we have a vaccine. We can celebrate that day as well. We are not sure when the vaccine is coming up.
Vaccine day.
Vaccine is announced.
D-Day.
I don't know.
Or maybe we can have a vaccine. Everyone will have a vaccine on the same day, and then we'll record it in our books, and then we'll celebrate.
So
all during the marathon, people are getting vaccines.
I'm not going to take the vaccine. I'm gonna because I don't trust them right now, and all they've done is tested them on hamsters right now, the ones that have been successful. And you know, I don't want to be the next guinea pig. But my question is how many hamsters died before they realized it worked? And just because it works in a hamster doesn't mean it's going to work in me. So
it's good for me.
I don't want to be a downer, but let's be a little realistic. Let's celebrate health. Okay.
No, you're right.
Let's celebrate eating healthy, building our immunities. That's what this marathon is going to be about. Good music.
That's what we all can do.
Good spiritual coaching. We'll get our spiritual coaches up there to give us some, you know, habits that we can practice, you know, so that we can get those Japanese anime magnetic balls and throw them. Yeah. And, you know, Pokemon did that, right? They would have these balls they would throw at people. So I think that's what Coach Kumar was teaching us. Was
all about energy. You got to bring the energy.
Got to have it.
But let's do this. We can promote it between now and then. We just need to pick a day. My recommendation is probably not Labor Day weekend because Americans probably won't pay attention, but maybe after Labor Day weekend. But what would be great about this is Zach, you're right. You know, artists want to be appreciated too. Yeah. You know, especially like painters, right? My heart is breaking. Well, my heart's really breaking for them right now. The ones who work really, really hard to get their work into exhibits, right? Because musicians can still at least perform on Zoom platforms like this, and you can hear them, and people are interested in it. But get people drawn into looking at pieces of artwork. You almost have to be there to feel the art, and so we got to find a way to help get people exposed in various different ways, right? And in order to do that, we need to work as a team. We need to connect, and Kit, we need to get a sound. The crowd clap.
He can borrow it from the baseball teams, because every time somebody hits a home run, they pipe the sound in. So yeah, yesterday the Phillies had 4 of them. Sorry, Zach. I mean, I feel badly, but
hey, I'm 1-1. I'm a Mets fan. I'll take it. Season's over. I'm 1-1.
All our teams are 1-1 right now.
Because the Brewers are 1-1 too.
There you go.
What I learned yesterday during our Warrior talk and plant a good seed, all you have to do is win one. That's it.
Yeah.
Just win one. You don't have to go any further. Just win one. So
Win one. Win
one.
Going back to appreciation, I think I know my spot in your band.
Where is it?
It's groupie.
Hey, that works.
That's the most important.
We need groupies. We need them too. We have a spot in our show where we invite we can't do it anymore, obviously, but we used to, and I'll show you pictures one day. A song, Atomic Dog, would be playing it, and I would have the security have everybody just come on stage right in the middle of the show, and we would just let them hang out with us because it was interactive. This was first when things were just starting to be interactive in New York, and we would invite as many people safely as the stage could hold. And I have pictures of that. And people would just be freaking. And then they would leave respectfully. But
sure,
that's where you would come in, because you would be the guy to get everybody up and the guy to get everybody off. And then you can hang out with us. You know what I'm saying?
I win.
That would be the guy. So win-win.
Not very well. Can you do it again, Ankit?
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Can you play
I
it
heard
again?
that. I heard that.
Yeah, I heard it.
I heard a cat whistle.
Let me do it again. How about this one?
There you go.
Hold on.
We'll pop up the lion. We'll pop up the lion, and it'll cheer.
Lion is not here.
I know, but we'll give it to Mark.
Not on this one.
Right, we'll give it to Mark.
You got to save the lion from South Africa.
Have you seen the lion, Mark?
I have not seen the lion. I need the lion.
Hilarious. It's your Ed Kit pops him up every time somebody says something really cool. So I love it. There you go, Zach. We got you some.
It's a work in progress, Ankit.
It sounded like.
Right. This whole thing is a work in progress. We don't mind that.
It sounded like somebody was doing the dishes. It didn't sound like clapping.
That's not what we're going for.
Work in progress. That's funny.
But you know what? We could put it on Zach's soundboard, and after the musicians play beautiful music, we can have that clapping noise for Zach. Mark can play it, and then the musician can have that feel of love, right?
Yeah. I got to tell you, last night when I went, right, I was surprised that people were out, and there was a live band. It was their first time playing 8-Track Minds, and they were a cover band. But, I couldn't believe how many people were just there, dying for something, social distancing and everything else. The only reason I didn't do it out and about is because it was too loud, and I didn't want to get in people's faces, But I'm going to do some scouting out soon just to see if we're going to do this soft opening down here, and it's safe. I think little things will come back, and that's going to help the businesses. Because right now, we got to make sure these businesses stay alive, not with necessarily bands and music, but these poor people that put everything they had into their bars and clubs, and now they can't make a dime. We have to somehow figure out how to support them and keep them going. That's why I went out last night. I don't drink, and I had my water with me, and Tish was there. My other friend Mark was there, and a few other people. But it was nice to see the owner of this place happy, because he told me when I left, he said, listen, I didn't know what was going to happen. I can only have so many people. It's the law. Everybody was cool. And the band was playing. They hadn't played since last season. He said, this made my day, and he was really happy that people were there. And I think there's a lion. Hey, I must have said something good. I said got something cool. Yay, my first lion. My first one. Yes, thank you. Number one. Always got to remember the first.
We
yes,
got to save that for Alexandra's show because that's coming from South Africa. That's where you see these guys.
So the lion stands for so many things in life, but I think of Lion King, right, and surviving, and that song just resonates in my body. But I think here's an idea, Zach, especially with Out and About. These still, even being able to open with limitations and restrictions can still kind of hinder their ability to grow. So maybe we can take an Out and About camera and set it up when we go into these bars. Friday night, it's after 5 kind of thing, or show, whatever, and play it for people out there to join in, right? And then, we could maybe even play around with this a little bit on Zoom so people can kind of, meet and say hi in other sections, but have it so that people because you can't let everybody in, people come in via this kind of platform, right? And so people can say hi. So even if we say film it on Zoom, but pipe it into here so that we can play it for the world to watch.
Right. Yeah.
So then now you're giving this bartender more people. And what you do is you ask people to donate a little bit of money to the bartender that night, the bar that night. Yeah. So if you're going to come join us and hang out with us, right. If you're going to come join us and hang out with us, do you mind donating $5 tonight? Get your drink in hand. Cause like today after the show, I'm going to go have a Zoom beer with Holmes. He's invited me to have a Zoom beer. And we did this last week. It was pretty cool. Not just me and Holmes, it was somebody else, right? So we had a Zoom beer and wine. And I thought, that's pretty cool. Because normally after work, you would go meet somebody for a drink and have a little bit of extra chat. And so that's what the idea I'm thinking about is that people can still have their beer and wine like we were doing with the cafe idea, still come join you, right? But you got it live going on now. But if you're doing it through the Zoom where people can dial in and register, they can donate $5 and hang out with other people and say hi. And you see where I'm
that's a great idea. I love the idea. I do have to tease Ankit about something though, because when he put up that big lion, I noticed that the lion's backside was right in Lynn's face, so that was really not a great thing. So I don't know if Lynn was really enjoying the lion, where the lion was placed at, because you're watching the screen, the lion was not in a good place.
I think Lynn was the lion. Lynn is the lion. It was coming out of Lynn's.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. A work in progress.
But Zach, we're family here, and I got to tell you, you got to go to the Family Dollar store and get one of these minion napkins.
Oh yeah,
because there's something coming out of your chin there.
Yeah, I'm growing. This is my COVID. I'm going to grow it until the whole thing stops. I decided. Yeah, I'm just going to let it go all the way down, like Rumpelstiltskin. Remember Rumpelstiltskin?
I do. Yeah.
or the Seven Dwarfs or whatever. I had to do something.
You got to do something, but I can't pull that off. Even if I could grow it, I could not do that.
Zach, did you get your dollar points? Do I need to?
Yes, I did. I didn't shop yet, but I got my points. Points.
Well,
and thank you.
I'll send you more for today's show. I think today was worth it.
I saw that Coach Kumar signed up as a customer also.
Wow. Oh, I got to give her one.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Anand, my brother, he is in US actually.
So
I'm sorry, what?
Our brother is in US.
Okay.
Your brother. Yeah.
Your brother did. Well,
her brother's in the US.
Oh, her brother's in the US.
Oh, whoa. I like
nice
that.
Eyes. That one has
so lions are just fierce.
So what's Coach Kumar's first name?
On a Monday.
Then this is her brother. Then this is her brother who signed up.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Lynn, I was texting with her earlier today because I think she thinks I need help.
We all think you need help, Jim.
We all do.
What else is new?
Sorry.
I actually asked her to contact you, so just to make sure you were okay. I was worried about you. So.
Oh my goodness!
So
it's
I
one
have to ask
thing.
Zach a question. You were a drummer. Did you ever play the Sing, 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 the drummer's part that, who was it? Was it Buddy Rich used to play the big drummers? You know, as a drummer, that's a part you could play here. You could just do the solo.
Buddy Rich actually.
Oh, Buddy Rich, yeah.
He's actually. If you looked at my laptop, you would see Buddy Rich and Dennis Chambers, Art Blakely, and Billy Cobham. I have their videos on YouTube. I watch them all the time. Buddy Rich, and I met him, was one of the most amazing drummers. He didn't read music. Buddy Rich was one of the most amazing drummers the world has ever produced. I seen him do stuff that nobody else ever did. And that's why, you know, when I met him, I was in awe because of just what he did. And I met him later on. But when he was young, they said this guy used to be able to solo for like a half hour. He used to practice 8 to 16 hours a day, then go do a show. But Buddy Rich conducted a band orchestra, never read a note. And he's in my top 5 drummers of all time. And no, I would not attempt to take that solo because only Buddy Rich could actually do that. I have seen guys, you know, equally as talented, but Buddy, innovator, loved him. I can't do that.
Exactly. Who are your other 4?
Yeah.
You said top 5. Is Buddy Rich is one? Who's your other 4?
My personal drummers, Dennis Chambers, number 1 of all time. He's the GOAT. Dennis Chambers, look him up. Billy Cobham. Buddy Rich, Art Blakely, and then my other drummer is not really a well-known drummer, but he plays for Stevie Wonder and everybody else. You know, and I love him. And Lenny White, because of his production factor or whatever, and Ron Brown. Those are my guys. But Buddy, you know, Buddy used to be able to spin his stick with his left hand while he's doing 6/8 timing over here. And not only was he spinning his stick, he was spinning it underneath and on top of the hi-hat. So top, bottom, while he's riding 6/8 time over here. Now, just to have that timing mechanism in your head. Drummers, this is why we're all off anyway. But I seen him do it live. And I was like, okay, I'm never going to be able to do that. But the man was amazing. He was amazing. But Dennis Chambers, if you Google Dennis Chambers and watch him, he's my guy. He's Parliament, George Duke. He played with everybody, Santana, everybody. Those are my guys, Mark.
Okay.
I love Santana. But you know, this is the kind of music you need on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
This takes me back to when in my early 20s, and Sunday would come around, and I would just chill to jazz music all day long.
Yeah.
And it would just, what's great about jazz is I think it really gets into the roots of our soul, right?
Yeah.
That's where jazz came from.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's truly, a lot of jazz came from the storytelling that people had, and that music came out to express that story. The same country music is the same way, but jazz is just, you know, think about it. When I was sitting there doing my work, I was so relaxed, so chilled out. And so this is what we need to bring to the world. Yep. And I love the idea of, we're going to get a marathon going. I hope that Lynn joins us and is a part of it. He's got a musician in his family.
I do. Yeah.
Hint.
Well, I'll give you his phone number because he and I haven't talked in 4 years. But
Who is it?
Okay. Who is he? Yeah. He's a concert pianist. He was in the Tchaikovsky competition in the late 60s. He was second in the Leeds competition to the 1 American pianist, who's said about him that my brother's the top classical pianist in the world without a world-class career. He's an extraordinary musician. I think he's retired now. He lives in Seattle. He was a professor at University of Washington when he gave up his concert career, but he played all over the world. I mean, I know he's done a lot of stuff in China, in New Zealand, in Australia, all over Europe.
He's a global citizen.
Yeah, lived in London for a number of years. He used to practice with George Schulte, who was the conductor of the Chicago Symphony. They both lived in London at the same time, and they practice together all the time. So, you know, he's got a great background, but he's also got a bit of a personality that sometimes gets in the way. But then that's that tends to be a problem for the family. I've been told the same thing.
Those guys that are on that level, they're just so much gifted. It's like their head is huge. Because to read and play what a classical musician or opera singer does, and they're actually singing every note that they want to. Like me, I'm just playing. But and when I watch these people, I'm in awe. I'm like, you know, they were dipped in it. Oh my God.
When he was 3 years old, his birthday was right around Thanksgiving. And back in the day, Oklahoma always played Notre Dame over Thanksgiving. And during halftime, the Notre Dame band came out and played the victory march, like cheers, cheers for old Notre Dame. He actually sat down at the piano with two hands playing chords. He just started playing the piece of music, and he was 3 years old.
Yeah,
so
gifted.
Yeah, he was gifted. But then you start reading about a lot of the classical musicians, and they all do that. So you know.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at some of the classical musicians, even the opera singers. I've had the pleasure of meeting a couple of opera singers, and just the fact that what Zach was alluding to, that they can sing not just in their native language, whatever the native language is, but oftentimes sing in other languages and sing with like just perfect tone and perfect everything, even in that language. So like I said, I just have mad respect for opera singers. Sometimes I'm sitting there going like, I have no idea what this song is or what y'all are singing about, but it sounds good, and I'm just gonna try to figure out later on what the storyline is, because like I said, I know that I oftentimes don't know what the language that they're singing in, but it's just some amazing music. So definitely mad respect for that. And you talk about Notre Dame, you know, we lost a TV legend that apparently had a major connection to Notre Dame and everything, because I did not realize this, but apparently Regis Philbin was a major Notre Dame person and was a big time supporter of Notre Dame, which I did not realize, but you know, he went.
Didn't know that. Didn't know that.
That's interesting to hear. You know, we're losing, it seems like, or maybe it's just magnified because we're at home all the time, but it seems like that there are a lot of deaths and souls are leaving this earth. Maybe seems like prematurely, but a lot of them have left behind really nice, beautiful footprints. I just recently was notified, well, actually last night, of a friend who just passed away as well. So I think, you know, this is a good time to reflect that we have that, but that's why we have all of this music and good souls and everything, you know, to build our souls back up. And, you know, also I want to add, we've got our own great musicians, except don't ask me, but we've got our own great musicians that we can tap into through Alexander May. We've got and Alexander Sasha. Okay. Have you guys ever heard him play?
He's a great
He's played on his own TV show a few times.
Really?
Really? One of the times he played a birthday song that he made up. This was beautiful. He made up, and it was a mixture of "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" and "Happy Birthday" and something else, all mixed together. And he did this on.
That was concert pianist. Was his first love, Marvin Chess.
Yes. Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
And more than
music is so big in Europe, much bigger than it is here in the United States.
It is. Yeah.
And you know, you go into all the small towns or small cities in Europe, and they have an orchestra. They're wonderful musicians. Actually, my brother was telling me the best orchestra he ever played with was in Cordoba, Spain, and I asked him why, and he said, because a lot of the musicians that came from the Eastern Bloc came west when the wall came down, and many of them went to Spain and started playing with the Spanish orchestras. So you know, there's some wonderful music over in Europe. And it's too bad because, and I love the other kinds of music as well, but classical music tends to be dying here in the United States.
And I'll tell you why. Because here, when you look at the population that used to play classical music, they've all gotten older. So what happened is the classical music went to Japan, China, Europe, England, Australia. Those kids were more interested. Our kids were interested in hip hop. So that's what happened. So because I saw the change coming when I was about in my 30s, and I used to go to operas and stuff, and I started noticing the demographics changing. They weren't really teaching classical music as a way of make a living. All the cats were like, well, yes, I like it and I can play it, but I can't make a living from it. So people in other countries, they didn't care if they got paid. They would come here for scholarships to Berkeley and everywhere else and go back home. Here, our kids were like, once MTV ruined music, which it did. It did. Once MTV ruined music and kids saw, okay, I don't have to produce, I just have to be seen. That's where classical music died in this country. That's exactly the death. And I remember the day, because I rue the day that MTV came out. I said, this is the end. I said, this is it. Now everything's going to be different, because now music is not heard, it's seen.
Yeah, and you're right about that I would add to that, just really quickly, is that the thing that they have done here, and I know we're a global community, but one of the things that they have done here is that they have tried to, when I say here, I'm talking about Durham, is that they've tried to get some of the classical music infused with some of the other styles of music. Because I'm actually was on the board for the Durham Symphony and actually have friends that still play for that symphony and have friends that are involved, including the director for Malame. I'm actually going to try to talk to her about getting on one of our shows in the near future, but that's our chamber orchestra here in this area. But they're starting to mix the music. So they realize what Zach just said, that they just can't get to our kids and listen to just straight classical. So they're blending it with like other music. So they might blend it with like R&B, they might blend it with other styles of music to show that, or they might even show, as I know Malame has done, other parts of the culture. So Malame has even done some music with like some people out of Vietnam and out of Asian cultures and other things like that. So they're trying to show ways to bring the kids into various kinds of music and learning about the different kinds of music, while also getting them to learn about that classical note, whether it's chamber orchestras or whether it's the symphonies or the more traditional classical music.
Yeah. It's funny.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Kim.
No. Go ahead.
I'll go ahead.
Right,
I was wondering, Lynn, do you think because I got so good at chess that it negatively affected my personality?
Where's that Pat? Where's the Pat?
Yeah, I've got to hang on one second. Here it is, right here. Yeah, let's be careful, because people can get computer viruses if they don't wear their masks. So you have to be careful. But I'm going to quickly talk about the dollar store, because I know we're winding down, and we really want people to support the dollar store. Here's one thing we have. We have face masks, okay, which Jim and I both have. You can get 50 of them for $25. You can get Minion napkins. Look at that. Kim has. Okay, Mark has his mask. And see, yep, there's the back with some more Minions on them.
Well,
anyway,
what I like about them is the back has Minions. I mean, what napkin goes out of its way to decorate the back?
Yeah. So anyway, but here's the thing. Support the dollar store, folks, because the important part is when you do, you're supporting Money Masters PBS, because we're giving all of our profits to Money Masters PBS through the end of August. Anybody that becomes a customer is between now and the end of July, so you have until next Friday to do this. We're going to give extra gift tokens. They're like gift cards that you can take to CVS or Target or the other stores that have gift cards. But when you buy from the dollar store, you're supporting Money Masters PBS and the mission, basically, which is to cut the gap between poverty and financial sustainability by providing financial education and financial fitness. And part of that's going to happen tomorrow by getting involved in the program, the Monday program that Nick is running. So learn about the economy, learn about investing, learn about There's all these things that you can learn on IBM TV. What a wonderful way to be able to get educated financially, get financial fitness. And you can learn from somebody like Sasha. And I didn't realize he was a triple threat. I mean, I knew he was good on at chess, and I knew he's great on investing. But to find out that his first love was concert music, to be a concert pianist. So now I definitely have to talk to Sasha because no, seriously. You know,
if I talk to him, I'm going to wear this on my head first.
Yeah, I know. Well, we already know about the pain that you're going to suffer when you play chess with him. So, as Kimberly says, to avoid the pain, go in advance and put it on your head first, and then that's prevention. And also put it on your arm because we don't want you to get tendonitis from moving all the heavy chess pieces. So,
wow, look at that.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well,
and we have,
if you ever travel with Elliot to do some tournaments, he's got chess pieces as tall as me. I don't know. It's kind of funny.
No,
but
that's not very tall, Kim.
Huh?
That's not very tall.
I know it's not. but it's kind of funny. But anyway, I just, what Lynn is doing is donating to me to one of the best causes that we could, because you can give people food that doesn't teach them how to survive, right? And that's what we're about. We're about teaching that physical fitness skill, that financial fitness skill, the discipline to not just have money to eat today, but to have it forever. Kind of like, you can either give them the tomato or you can give them a seed and teach them how to grow that tomato, planting the good seed, right? So there's just so many ways, but what we want to do is teach you the basics, the simple basics, the financial fitness. We don't want it to be boring. Like Nick says, it's so boring. That's why nobody does it. It doesn't bleed. It's not like a bar fight. It's not fun. But if you learn the basics, of just, not just about just what you make, but it's how you save it, how you spend it to save it. But by going to the dollar store and buying your essentials and having them delivered, right? So that you save money and it's cheaper. But and if you buy $25, it's free shipping. But also, so that's saving money that you can invest in, right? You want to invest, and we've got the shows for how not to be afraid of investing. What we teach you isn't, the definite facts. It's just the way around the world, right? Just the basic skills of getting around there, not being afraid. And we've got real people you can contact and ask questions. Then what's the most important? Taxes. And I'm going to talk to David K. Johnson to do a tax show just to talk about the basics, right, of what's very important. But that's very important for one reason. You got to do it. You're going to have to pay it. And then number 5, pay forward, giving.
Pay forward.
And what Lynn is doing, and that's what we're doing is to teach. We're doing that to do what? To teach you these 5 basic elements. But when you start paying forward, it comes back. So this is very, very important. I hope you guys do this. I've got some ideas to give you guys for our marathon. Hey, thank you. Our marathon. So listen to this. The end of the World War II celebration, the 75th anniversary, is September 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
It was put off to September 2nd. The Labor Day is September 7th, so the weekend between, maybe. Yes, Ankit.
On 23rd September, we'll be finishing up 200 days non-stop.
There we go. That's a good one for me. Let's do it.
What day is that again?
Like September
23rd.
And Ankit hasn't slept for almost 80 or 180 days, and then by the 100, so whatever the number is. Anyway.
That's because neither Ankit or Zach believe in sleep. They don't know what sleep is. The word sleep is out of their dictionary. It's gone.
Zach knows what time I sleep actually.
Yes,
Yeah,
because I'm always waking them up. That's how I know.
Well, here's what's funny. I used to be just like that till 3 years ago. I don't know what happened, but one day I found what sleep felt like. And it was like sleepy. I never woke up again. But, you know, it was the weirdest thing. I was nonstop for years, and I don't know what happened 3 years ago. I can tell you the exact day that I did my first full night's sleep without, and it was the weirdest thing. But the sleep is good, but you know what? You find that balance. You'll know when you need to rest.
Yeah, that's right.
And, and I don't worry about people, but I will tell you this: when you pull 3 straights, you do some things you don't think about that you would normally do. So I would just always say, be very, very careful when you're pulling those 3 straights. But what is our anniversary? How many shows will that be?
200.
Shows I need to count, but we will be completing 200 days non-stop on 23rd September, starting from 8th of March. Yeah.
And look at those numbers, 2020, 200. That's deep.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, that is.
Hopefully by that time we have a vaccine.
It's number 9 month. So
that's it.
We got some good numbers. You know what? It's always about the numbers, right?
Yeah.
I'll start working on getting some cats and girls together, you know, and talk about this some more with them. I'll definitely, you know, reach out to everybody I know that wants a global awakening spiritual thing that we're going to do, because that's what it's going to be. You know, that's what we do here. So I'll definitely reach out. You know, I have a few other people I haven't talked to yet, but, you know.
But let's build a running sheet for the marathon, right? So let's get a spreadsheet going to build a running sheet, make sure that we have the person's name, contact, what hour they can do, right? Or what time. If you want an hour, if they want 15 minutes, so we can do it 15:31, right? And, you know, let people select what they want. And then
I was going to tell you, Mark, you and I have time to get into training now. For this
I don't know if we got enough time to get into training, but I do know that see, I have an advantage over you, Jim. I'm gonna tell you what my secret advantage is. I know a couple of dancers, so I'm gonna start getting them to give me some training. So I'm gonna get them on the show, these dancers and artist friends of mine. So they're gonna have me trained before you're trained.
Okay.
And so what we could do is I'll set up a thing so that when people register in, that we'll set it up so that people can donate, right? There's a way to do it now. Facebook has it, Zoom has it.
People have it, yeah. People also have it.
A way so people can actually dial in. Well, maybe we'll set up a Zoom and play it through here, but so people can actually dial in as audience where you've got the show going on. And then what we could do is take all of this and people can donate money. We can watch them donate on Facebook. We can watch, and this could be just so exciting. Not just for the US. Okay, let's go global.
Big, yeah.
You know, let's talk to some of the actors we've had on our show from India. I mean, we've had some serious
1 a.m. someplace.
Yeah.
Someplace in the world it's 1 a.m. and the artists are just getting out and getting going.
That's right. Well, but here's the other thing. If we're doing it 24 hours, we can make it convenient for people in other countries. So that's what's cool about this, you know, and maybe we can get an ambassador for each country to take on the task to get the run sheet together of the people in their time zone, and they each run their time zone. So we, you know, not one person is carrying the whole show.
I'll do it for Northern California.
Hey, that's a country stuff. You can have it.
You mean the Socialist Republic?
I knew.
You got to represent everyone.
I knew that was
right?
coming too.
Yep.
So there you go.
I don't know the inside joke, but I'm sure it is one. I don't know.
There's an inside joke.
Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I don't want to know. I enjoyed this though.
But I will tell you this. I have bad news for you, Lynn.
What's that?
Jim knows this as well. They have an ally. You know, if that's the Socialist Republic of whatever you call it,
Northern California, right?
Northern Republic of California. Well, you know, we must be little Cuba, because over here in the Durham area we have like a little very progressive environment. So,
well, I'm not. I didn't start it actually. Nick was the one that started it, if you remember.
That's
so.
right.
So I just picked up the theme.
You picked up the theme and kept on digging at it.
What's that?
It's the capitalist. Go ahead, Anki.
just follow the flow what Nick started, and we are just flowing and using the
there
same.
you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. And Kit and I agree. And you know why we agree on so many things?
Same
What?
birthday.
Because we're
Same
birthday
birthday.
brothers from different mothers. There
Same
you go.
birthday.
Yep.
Same birthday.
There's the 7.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
The thing is that this is all good vibes, but unfortunately, I think we need to wrap up. And
We do need to wrap up, and I agree with you
Before we
on
wrap
that.
up, I'll
So
tell you, Zach will be on Alexandra's show starting at 3 p.m. EST today, just 50 minutes from now. So
Yep.
we have to
50 minutes.
and
Time is
and the other
flying.
thing, just really quickly
3
to let our
o'clock.
listeners know,
Tune in.
there will not be a Monday show, but we will have the show that I did as a pre-record, which Ankit has. So there will be an interview with a musician from Nashville, because I've already done the pre-record, and there may be another one that is a member of the Praying Mantis, which is a popular rock band that has some worldwide kind of background, and I'm interviewing them later on this evening. So the show will go on, because even though I've got to take care of the grieving that's going on with the family and everything, the show must go on, because I do believe in that theme that folks have said about show business. So the show will go on even if I'm not here.
Sorry
Well,
for your loss, Mark. Sorry for your loss.
Yeah, sorry for your loss, and many blessings to you. I know it's this tomorrow will be the difficult part, and everything, and it's very hard. Big hugs to you. And we're here. We got this. But you know what? I want everyone to know that Mark is also taking on more shows during the week, and so IBMTV will be airing until 7 o'clock every night.
Yep.
So,
7.
and we've also started another show Tuesday nights, I think, at 8. 3 to 7 every day.
Yes.
And then Tuesday nights, I think we have an 8 o'clock show that has just started. And it's on healing, faith, and it's a beautiful show with David Octavia. And I think that it's just another one of those things that we just need to keep growing. So that, this is all very exciting. Can we get our ambassador up?
Not on this platform, I think.
Oh, we don't have our ambassador. This
Yes,
isn't
never
our
get to the
platform.
ambassador. And gets being finicky with the ambassador.
Okay, so everybody,
Wash your hands.
Yep.
wash
Right.
your hands,
Wash your hands. Yep.
sneeze into your sleeve, and
True.
touch you. And when you say hello and goodbye, you say namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.
Thank you for joining us on IBMTV Super Sunday, and please join us on Alexandra's May Musical Cafe starting at 3 p.m. EST. Zach will be joining the show today, and tomorrow we have Express Monday on IBMTV, followed by one of its kind radio show with Mark Lee at 2 p.m. EST only on IBMTV. And please subscribe us on YouTube /IBMTV. Thank you very much, and it was a wonderful day and a great conversation with amazing music. Love to see you.
Awesome.
Do we have a